Welcome. I am Brad DeLong, an economics professor at the University of California at Berkeley, a sometime Deputy Assistant Secretary of the Treasury for Economic Policy. This is the weekly DeLongTODAY briefing. Here I hold forth on the Lee Bureau's Vimeo platform on my guesses as to what I think you most need to know about what our economy is doing to us right now. I promised Wes Neff, when he agreed to provide the infrastructure for these, that I and my briefings would be lively, interesting, curious, thoughtful, plus relatively brief. I promised I'd provide briefings on a mix of forecasting, politics, macroeconomic analysis, history, and political economy. Today is an economics analysis and policy briefing. Is Biden doing the right thing with his $1.9 trillion combination relief, restoration, and stimulus program? I think he is. But first, last Wednesday, the Republican House of Representatives caucus voted 145 to 61 to endorse Liz Cheney as one of their leaders, and thus to approve of her for her conscience vote to impeach Donald Trump. Only 61 members of Congress in the Republican caucus are true red meat guys, in the sense that they want to do whatever Donald Trump wants, and don't want anyone in their party who doesn't. But on Wednesday, half the Republican caucus also gave bigoted conspiracy theorist Marjorie Taylor Greene, she of the Jewish space lasers caused forest fires, she of the mass school shootings really did not happen, she who has called for the assassination of Democratic House leaders, gave her a standing ovation. And the following day, only 11 Republican House members were willing to vote to censure her by stripping her of her committee assignments. The difference? The Cheney vote was a secret ballot, the Green applause, the Green vote was public. I hearken back to 1993, when then Treasury Secretary Lloyd Bentsen from Texas was describing to some of his senior staff, and to us junior spear carriers standing in the back of the room against the wall, what his longtime friend Bob Dole, senator from Kansas then, the Republican Senate minority leader, had said to him. Dole had said that the Republican Senate caucus was going to go all in against Clinton's deficit reduction reconciliation bill. It needed to be done for the country's sake, the bill did, Dole said, but we Democrats would do it. And he needed to position the Republicans to pick up seats. And the best way to do that was for none of the Republicans to be on board voting for any of Clinton's initiatives, whether or not they were good things for the country, so that Democrats could be blamed for whatever went wrong, with no water muddying possible. It's now been this way for 30 years, and I am seriously tired of it. Whenever there's even a slightly tough vote to be taken with respect to the Republican base, the Republicans are all gone saying the Democrats need to do it, and we don't really need to care to stand up for what's good for the country, ever. I'd say ever. I would call the Republicans cowardly quislings, except a not inconsiderable portion of them appear to be true believers, rather than just going along with the Trump and Funk's Odle base. And as for quislings, well, World War II era Vidkun Quisling, he stood up and was counted when he decided that enthusiastically backing Hitler was best for his career, and the only political strategy that promised even some hope for Norway in the midst of World War II. So whatever is to be done needs to be done by the 50 Democratic senators and Kamala Harris, by Pelosi's narrow House majority, and by President Biden. So what then needs to be done to bring about full economic recovery? Well, where are we now? This is where we are. No signs of any inflation right now. Not that a little inflation right now wouldn't be a bad thing. A enormous depression of employment in the United States, as deep as the worst employment got during the Great Recession of 2008 to 2010. That is where we are right now.